So, following the rumours of Errol Spence potentially fighting Virgil Ortiz Jr. next, that got me thinking that, honestly, I think that's a really bad fight for Errol Spence. But what would actually be a good fight for Errol Spence to come back to? Now, I think regardless of who he wants to fight, he needs a tune-up first, right? So he needs someone top 40, top 50, top 30, tune up, get him some rounds, can go the distance, probably go 10, 12 rounds with him, or maybe he can stop them late, but get some rounds under his belt. I don't want to see Errol Spence Jr. go in there, back in there with any of the world champs at 154, straight off the bat, right? So you fight someone in top 50. Then if you want to push him for a world title fight, I don't think he loses. I don't think he beats any of those guys, but I do think Errol Spence is a big enough name to be able to command those world title shots, if that makes sense. Even though I don't think he's at the level of as a boxer anymore, he's still a big enough name to command world title fights. But what would actually be a competitive fight for him? And a name coming to mind. And the name that came to mind was Keith Thurman. Now, honestly, to some, maybe a bit of a weird name to throw out there, considering Keith Thurman's also kind of regarded as being past his prime, but he's coming off a win, and he's currently operating at 154. He's not fought anyone amazing at 154, but at one point, this fight was a dream fight. Granted, I don't think it's a dream fight anymore. I think both guys are far removed from their primes, but still, that's a big non-world title fight at 154 pounds, in my opinion. Still, even now, even going into 2026, if that fight was to get made. I think if Errol Spence was actually looking at making a comeback now, I was hearing rumours that he's retired. But then I'm hearing he's retired, then I'm hearing, okay, well, he can fight Virgil Ortiz next, but I'm thinking he shouldn't fight Virgil Ortiz next if he's coming back anyway. That's sort of what spurred this video on, but I really do think that's an interesting fight. Like I said, Keith Thurman, he just knocked out Matt Jarvis in March of this year. It's not just, it was earlier this year. But knocked him out, showed that he's still got power at 154. He showed if he's got anything, he's still got speed, he's still got power. He didn't look amazing defensively. And Brock Jarvis was, a bit of a live body early on in that fight and was trying to throw punches and get going. But Keith Thurman, he just ate it, to be honest. He just ate it. Now, maybe you can eat Matt Jarvis's punches. That's not the same as eating Errol Spence punches. Because Keith Thurman isn't amazing defensively. Honestly, neither guy's that amazing defensively in terms of being elusive and not getting hit. Both guys, for the most part, use the high guard as their defense and prefer to catch punches and take them that way. I think Keith Thurman in his prime did move about a bit more than Errol Spence. Errol Spence is a lot more of a sort of plodding fighter. And I think as he's got older, he's become more plodding and more slower and a touch clumsier, I think, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm thinking for Errol Spence, he shouldn't come back. He's going to be past removed from his prime. But again, if a guy wants to make money, who am I to... God forbid I stop a man from earning. God forbid. Right? But yeah, I do think that's a good fight. I'm thinking about who do I think wins? I'd probably give that to Keith Thurman, But it really just depends how bad Errol Spence's punch resistance is. If it's bad, he's going to get hit by Keith Thurman. And Keith Thurman, I don't think Keith Thurman gets him out of there. I don't think he's that level of puncher at 154. I don't think he's going to probably be capable of hitting him that cleanly. Because he's not as crisp as a counter puncher as Terence Crawford. Let's have it right. He's not as crisp at all. He's a lot more raw, a lot more rough and ready, a lot more of a brawler. Again, Keith Thurman, he's there to be hit too. And Errol Spence was a mean puncher at 147. Underrated body puncher. And people know that Keith Thurman's got a bit of a body weakness there. That's not people know, but that's been a bit of a thing out there, right? That you can get to Keith Thurman's body, you can hurt him. I think Sean Porter might have hurt his body at one point in that fight. He's there to be got to, and that's been a well-known thing about Keith Thurman. People know, if you know about the truth, Errol Spence, this guy at 147 was a nasty body puncher. And this is an example of him where he's a plodding fighter. It sort of helped him in being an effective body puncher as well. Because he was so squared on and he could turn, he could drop a level, drop those body shots in. And he was a puncher, bro. So that fight could potentially be a lot closer than I think. And I think Errol Spence is probably the biggest puncher that Keith Thurman would have fought in a long time. I think Errol Spence is a bigger puncher than Pacquiao at this point in his career. Who knows, man? Honestly, who knows? But yeah, let me know what you guys think of that fight. Do you think Keith Thurman should fight Errol Spence? Or maybe Virgil Ortiz. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Another episode of the Seth Solo Side Quest in the bag, and I'm out. Peace.